Hey everybody, and welcome to Just Us Living with Josh and Gabby. I'm your host, Josh Bell, and this is the lovely Gabby Creary. It's really funny. So the reason why I said
Creary, right?
I did. So the reason why I said your name is because I was describing, somebody asked about our podcast. I was talking about it at the brewery, and somebody asked about our podcast. So I was like, yeah, you'll see I always say Josh and Gabby or Gabby and Josh because I can't say her last name. And then I said it wrong 7 times. Like I spelled it
right, like on camera. You're good.
I know. I've spent some time. So let's just get right to it. I don't have a beard, and I'm not okay with this. It wasn't a bet. It wasn't anything. I just told my husband yesterday. I was like, I want to shave my beard, and he's like, go do it. And I was like, you like my beard? Like, why are you telling me? He's like, because you always say things like this. And it was really funny because then he made fun of our diets right afterwards. But he's like, because you always say things like this. He's like, just go shave it. And I was like, well, I can't shave it right now.
He wants you to know how wrong you are, and so that the next time when he says don't do it,
he was actually so supportive. Like,
of course he was,
because he also shaved it for me, and he like there are videos out there.
Sexy.
There are videos out there of him, me with a goatee, as well as me with a long mustache, because he made sure he got a picture of every stage of me losing my face.
Losing my face. I lost face yesterday, folks. I lost face.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not. I'm not.
I don't hate it. I get what you're saying though.
It's so like, okay, so before we started the camera,
you guys can tell us if anybody happens to see this video.
Yeah, I feel. You know what I feel like?
In on Josh's
I feel like when I smile,
facial hair. You look a little.
Do you remember? Okay, do you remember the old Batman comics with the Joker where he had like the really long? When I smile, it's like my smile has that like, it changes my entire face. But like when I'm not smiling and like I don't have any sort of definition, but then when I smile, it like defines everything. So when I have a beard, it like, yeah.
So he doesn't like his chin, folks. And he feels that with a beard, he has chin definition.
I do.
And I was like, but you can do chin yoga.
And
you can do face yoga now. There's a whole like, it's supposed to reverse aging, and you can get.
And my response to this was, I can't do 20 minutes of regular yoga, let alone yoga just for my face.
50 minutes of face yoga. And I looked at it, it's like this, you know, you're just doing this for, I don't know. I did face yoga at one point before it was called face yoga. And I used to have a double chin. And so you're supposed to stick out your bottom jaw and do this. And look how you see how all the muscles come out in the neck like that?
Oh, that hurts so much.
Yeah, I gave myself T&J with it.
So I have like.
He just moving on. Oh, yes.
No. I'm actually.
Wait, it won't go away. Look at that. I'm like aquatic Gabby. I got gills.
You got gills.
I got gills. What is that? I don't like that.
I got a toothbrush stuck in the back of my in my jaw when I was little. Yeah.
How did you do? What were you doing?
It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, especially on camera.
Okay.
But I was running around with it.
Just makes us more curious, Josh. You know that's the way you're running around with a toothbrush in your mouth. That's kind of like running around with scissors in your hands.
Yeah.
Right?
So it got stuck in my in back here, and we had to like kind of pull it out because you know we're from South Dakota.
That's
and
awful.
Going to the doctor costs money. So like we pulled it out, and I can
Were you one of those kids that got things stuck in your ear too?
Feel this. Feels right here.
No, I'm not feeling
Do it.
that.
Touch right here. Do it. Do it. And just hold it there for a second.
Ah!
It pops.
It pops.
That's
not what I was expecting either.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've been able to do that. It's just a pop, guys. So that you can actually hear it if you get close.
Nice.
Nice. So yeah, like I don't know what caused me to do this. I think I was just like bored and wanted some sort of change, and then realized this is the wrong change. But
this is not the change.
This is not the change I was looking for.
Oops.
I was not being the change I wanted to be. I was changing for change's sake. That's not good. So, yeah, so that's...
that was your mistake. Me, I've been doing the Julia Cameron thing and walking
Yeah.
everywhere. So today, instead of riding my scooter over to Grace, I'm like, I'm gonna walk to Grace.
Grace,
And then,
why wouldn't you walk? Grace is like 4 blocks away, Gabby.
don't.
I think you're saying a lot about yourself when you will walk like 5 blocks over to Grace.
Usually, what I have after Grace, I'm running. Not on Fridays, but every other Grace thing that I teach, I'm literally have 15 minutes to make it all the way across town.
That I understand.
So of course I have to take the scooter to Grace. But today I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually walk to Grace and then I can see my daughters on the way back.
Oh, I know how the story ends.
Mint Market, which I already hang out at way too much, was having a big tent sale outside. 3 bags later, and I left a lot of stuff there. Can you pat my back for me? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you can pat your own back with that one.
I can't reach very good because of the injury. I can't get back there. I left so much there. I really did. I really left a whole bunch of things out. But the worst part of it is there's also this massive, they literally called it the massive vintage sale all weekend long in the Heights. So I was planning on hitting today, but I have to take my dog to the vet, so I'm going tomorrow. And it's like, that was just Mint Market, and I did 3 bags. I got really cool stuff though. I mean, it's so good. Oh,
We'll
awesome.
talk. Okay, we'll talk about a little bit more of that in a bit because we want to talk about like clothing and things like that in a different kind of.
He's like, I don't know if this is the show for that, Gabby.
It's
Gabby living.
No, it's totally the show for that. I'm not actually. I'm not against talking about it, but I want to talk about like.
He's like, I'm not so into that kind of thing.
Well, no, we want to talk about weight gain later, which buying clothes is.
Oh my god. Well, and I literally bought things that I would feel comfortable in.
Yeah, and which is important to do.
And one of the things, it was a $10 silk dress, and I tried it on. I was not in love with it. Everything else I tried on, I was absolutely in love with. Even things that I put back, I absolutely loved. But I was like, you will wear this right now, and you will feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And it'll go, teach meditation and stuff.
And with you though, is that like it might not be the dress itself, but with the accessories, you might like the whole experience that the dress.
Well, and I did. I was like, okay, you're gonna put your black tutu under it. I have this fluff, this enormous fluff. I'm like, you're gonna put the black tutu under it. It's a black silk dress with a big silk skirt. And you're gonna accessorize the fuck out of it with a great belt and I bought a mink hat today that'll look just fabulous.
You bought mink?
You can buy hand-me-down mink. It's
I don't know.
vintage.
Vegans aren't, our vegan viewers.
I'm not vegan though.
I know, but our vegan viewers are not going to be happy with your mint hat. Mink hat. Your mint mink hat. That was okay.
That's a little Sam I Am, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a nice
little Sam I Am. Little.
To be fair,
I'm wearing leather shoes too, Josh. I have a leather bag.
I'm joking, Gabby.
I know,
mostly.
but I'm
because people are their own thing. Let people be people.
But with my kids, I don't buy any for right now. Like I won't go out. Oh, I also got, oh my God, this bag. The bag was a $600 bag that I got for $30, and it still had the tags on it.
For $600?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it was mink too.
So you got a mink bag and a mink hat?
I did.
Do they match? Does mink match?
No, they're not matching minks. But Mia's, okay, so this is the question. My daughter Mia is painting bags and has a bit of leather over the mink. And I'm like, do I hand her the $600 bag and say, go to town, honey? With the tag still on it?
I say yes. I say yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not? It'd be different if it was fresh bought $600. Like, one, you didn't spend $600 on it, so to you it's worth as much as you put into it, and it'll be worth that much more if your daughter does something with it. Because to you is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
true.
that was my that's my.
That's your take on it?
So after a
That's kind of why I bought it, just so that she could paint it.
Yeah.
But I was like,
Exactly.
Oh my
See-
God. I know. I love the idea, but a little bit of me is like, oh my gosh, is this sacrilege to paint a bag? But she's been doing these also vintage handbags.
1 second, folks.
There's a little bit of traffic going by.
A very loud piece of traffic going by.
Yeah. Because there's always construction going on in my neighborhood.
Yeah. I cannot believe you're wearing that jacket. I am so hot in this one shirt.
I had to. My shirt's a little distracting because I dressed for the seniors today.
You wore a distracting shirt to the seniors?
Not like that. It's Halloween.
Oh, you.
I did a skull.
Haha, it's revealing. Oh, I thought it was like the. I thought it was
a skull.
I almost wore a skull too.
You almost see? It's and then look.
No, I thought it was like the rib cage. Do you know what I mean? Like one of those rib cage shirts.
Oh no.
So like when you said, "Oh, it's revealing," it's
No.
funny at that point because it's.
I said distracting. I didn't say revealing. Distracting.
Yeah, it's-
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So it was a little. Yeah. I'm covering up the shirt. I didn't have time to change because I was shopping. I was shopping.
Yes.
It was so fun.
I just saw 11/11. Okay. Just sorry.
There you go.
So, after a very devastating week of lack of stuff. Last week. Yeah, last week we
Okay,
had the
we're
lack-
better. We
yeah.
are better. And that might even be why I'm shopping, is actually when I buy stuff and when I do things for myself, I'm usually on an upward cycle.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
maybe-
I'm not an extravagant, like that whole, the 3 bags were $175.
Yeah.
And that's for the month. I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, she didn't she just mention that she was gonna go.
And I got a $600 bag. So
She also mentioned she was going vintage, like looking at vintage clothes tomorrow. Yeah, I don't think her $175 for the
Wait,
entire
wait.
month. The month is also like a week left, Gabby.
Well, and this is the first time this month I've done this.
Okay. It's true.
It's true. You haven't seen me, like, I don't bring bags of stuff home every day.
So.
But with the vintage thing, Mia's painting purses. I'm going strictly to buy the handbags that she can paint. Really am.
Are you the one supplying your daughter with the handbags?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Because I like shopping.
Do you get a cut of the handbags?
Probably not.
Do you at least get paid back for the
I
handbags?
get, maybe. I get the satisfaction of knowing I helped my daughter in her creative endeavors, and isn't that what we're all about? Yes.
That was
okay,
nice.
that's crazy.
That was a nice transition. I'll give you that. That was a great transition.
I did it. High five, Josh. So how are you doing with your creative endeavors?
I've been
Artist
good.
dates?
I did my artist date. So this week I very much set up to do an artist date of literally just, I told you, I'm gonna lay in bed, listen to REM. I laid in bed, I talked with my husband slightly before about what album to listen to, and I listened to one album. Now,
He didn't make it all the way through.
I did not make it all the way through. My husband
missed
came
the
in
last
the
song.
last song.
I paid attention.
Yes,
I'm just
so
saying.
Gabby was paying attention to
I
it
was
this week.
paying attention to that.
But I planned it for, yet again, I didn't like make an extravagant, I was like, yeah, I think I'll do this tomorrow morning or Wednesday night. So I let Michael know, and Michael helped me pick an album, and then I went and listened to it, and it was okay. Like, I mean, I really like some of the songs, but like, I wanted to listen to the whole album because I like REM, and I wanted to feel their album, like what it was like, and it was a lot of fun because it was a lot of. I wasn't looking at it with like I'm a musician kind of eye, but one of their songs was a she shanty, and it was kind of cool. I wasn't expecting it, and so as someone's dying.
So much happening around town today, guys. By the way, right next to us, there's like another vintage sale and flea market going on. It's crazy. It's all around me. What's going on in Jersey City right now, too, by the way, is we are having unseasonably warm weather. It is crazy. It's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow we're almost in November. Like we are at the last dregs of October. I know Halloween is the end. That's Tuesday. So Halloween is Tuesday, and we're scuttlebutting through October, and it is hot outside. He's in shorts. He's in shorts.
Yeah,
You're
but
giving
I'm
me
a white
hard
guy.
time about-
I'll wear like shorts until mid-November, and then I'll wear jeans until March or February.
Is that's a white guy thing?
Yeah, you'll
I
see.
didn't know that.
Did you not? So my husband talks about white guys.
Kelly just gives him the nod. She's like, "You
White-
didn't know that,
White guys in shorts.
Kelly."
Like, you'll see us out in like snow with like shorts and shoes. Yeah,
Really?
it's a thing.
I'm fluffy, man. I everything I bought today was wool and mink.
I didn't miss any of my morning pages. I got my my walks
back
are
on
still
track.
my walks are still like but
I did my walk.
you know
My walk was very dangerous for me. That's what I was getting to.
it was dangerous.
I bought a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's not dangerous.
They had
Gabby, you've been hit twice. Why would you say a walk is dangerous? Like, that's like the worst, like, you led up to like, and I get hit by a car. When in reality, it's like, I just spent $175. Crazy.
Okay, well.
So, yeah, so that's, I worked on more of my narrative timeline for the Vein of
Oh,
Gold.
good for you.
Not a lot, but I worked on it a little bit. I went through all the
Aw.
questions. I got all the questions done.
Mhm.
I also, I'm very tired. I woke up 2 hours earlier than I planned on this morning. I went to bed at like 2 a.m. last night. We were watching the Goosebumps series
Oh, really?
on
The
Disney Plus.
Goosebumps?
Yeah, we were watching the Goosebumps.
Is it good?
It's
Do you like it?
it's silly.
It's very Halloween.
It's silly.
And you loved him, right?
So I didn't love his Goosebumps books. I loved his Fear Street novels.
Oh.
Like,
My daughter Sienna so dug him, and one of the bookstores here in town had him.
yep, Word Bookstore. I met him there.
No, not Word.
The one over here?
It was
The-
it was the vintage bookstore, the New to You
she
to
was-
chair. Right. We're not gonna go there, but so Sienna went in to meet him, and she was so excited. And there weren't any like, it was a special deal with the store. Like, it wasn't well advertised or anything like that. So there was nobody else there. And he spelled her name wrong, and she's never forgiven him. And she still talks about how he spelled her name wrong. Broke her little heart.
You know, I don't have that problem with anybody. My name is Joshua. Like,
Sienna's not very hard, but you know, whatever. Kelly's
how did
laying
he
down.
spell it, with a C?
No, I think he gave her an extra N.
Oh, she only has one in her name?
She only has one N.
Oh, I would screw that up too.
Yeah,
So,
that's okay.
I don't have to appease your daughters.
No, you do not. No,
Uh,
there aren't many men who can, let me tell you that. When it comes to my daughters, they're in terms of men, they are kind of unappeasable.
so yeah, I wanted to talk about,
Okay, what about my check-ins?
oh, okay.
Ha!
Okay, Gabby, let's talk about you
Right?
again.
Josh.
Go, what's your check-ins?
I did my morning pages.
I know,
I've done my walks.
obviously.
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. That's my review of walks. And
Have you done it daily?
Yes, I've been doing daily walks, and I've been doing the 20-minute. Like, that's why I went. So the route to come back was not. I would not have passed all my daughters on the route back, but I extended the walk so I would get the full
Oh.
20 minutes in.
I see you.
20 minutes turned into 2 hours, and that became the artist date too. There you go, done.
I was gonna say, I would think that tomorrow would be an artist date.
Yeah, that's what that was my scheduled artist date for the week.
Yeah.
I'm also going to a concert tonight, and
Oh, what concert?
listen to Harris.
No idea.
I kind of don't know either.
Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah, we'll play a little
Okay,
later.
so that's artist date, morning pages. Blah. Oh, so let's
Oh, okay.
let's transition into guidance.
Josh.
So
Josh.
I don't do the guidance. Like, I'm assuming she's gonna, like, I can't wait. So she has a new book coming out, by the way, in January, called Living the Artist's Way.
I cannot believe she's still fucking writing books. This is crazy.
And you haven't finished yours yet. So
I haven't even started it yet.
yeah, I am 6 pages into my November novella.
Ah, NaNoWriMo.
No.
Yeah. Well,
There's
your novella is.
My novella.
Okay, but NaNoWriMo is a traditional writing thing for writers in November, which is really cool. And it's National Write a Novel in a Month.
Yeah, so I'm
and we're starting. I'm not writing a novel in a month, but we are going to get writers group back up and going for November 8th and start some writing prompts for the month of November to celebrate.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still trying to decide whether or not I'm going to be there.
You're going to be there no matter what, right?
It's a Wednesday. You're asking me to go into work on a day that I am not working?
Well, we can Zoom it.
I'll think about it. We'll talk.
I am Zooming it because I have writers that don't live locally. I don't know how well it's going to work. It's the first one. I have no idea how well it's going to work.
Well,
with
what
Zoom.
what I do recommend for that though is that I would the downside. I would give them time to read that. I would have them join, but not to be discriminatory and stuff, but you really want to keep the people who are coming focused. So you can do the prompts. They can sit at the end of the table or whatever you want to do. But it's hard to
They can share amongst themselves, so they can read on Zoom and not share with a group.
Oh, that would work.
That would be how I'd hybrid it.
Yeah.
So those Zoomers, as long as you have more than one Zoomer, they get to share.
Yeah.
Still. Mm-hmm. And either we do breakout rooms or we just mute them. I don't know. Can you? I can turn the volume down. So we turn the volume down on my screen, but they can still have their volumes on and talk amongst themselves.
Yeah, I mean that would work. That would I think that would probably be the best way. Is if you know somebody who's.
So I really think that you should come to the first one just to help me with all this technology.
Or I stay online.
Or you be in charge of that online. Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But that's a possibility. I was gonna say you should have if you know somebody who's coming, have them be the have a second, almost a second read for the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is what when I went to they had somebody leading the entire time, the Zoom people. Did you ever listen to? Did you ever?
No,
I
need to log in. I just thought about that actually today because we got an email.
We're talking about the retreat that I went on.
Yeah, well, we just got an email. It's 1 month. It's 1 month later, and I was like, oh shit, I still haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it's 1 month later, and all right.
So we were talking about Julia Cameron, and you were talking about the guidance. Is what led us to the.
I asked quite a few questions to guidance today in my morning pages. I know that it's supposed to be separate, but oftentimes I'll start.
I don't necessarily think it has to be separate because she even talks about maybe in her later the one thing that I've realized is that what Julia does in her writing is she has this conceptually even when she first starts because she mentions guidance, things like this, and I think in the beginning she says take it to your morning pages very specifically, and the same thing with walking being walking was just a thing
to get
you
the
did
juices flowing.
Yeah, on one of the exercises. The same thing with doing the counting in one book is okay, you do it for a week to see where you're spending your money, and then she wrote an entire book that revolved around counting. So it feels depending on where you're at and what you're doing, she kind of orients you in a different direction, which is why I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to take to the morning pages, especially where we're at right now, which is we're having a hard enough time getting the morning pages done, let alone doing two things. So I have been trying on the whole guidance thing, and I've had a lot of hang-ups with guidance because what I've come to realize that for people that have had trauma, and I've had a lot, and that are programmed from a very young age for trauma responses, we don't recognize the difference between a trauma response, what some people would call God, creator, source, guidance, your guides, your intuition. So my intuition tells, and my gut, those responses, what I always trusted as a gut feeling for myself, is actually just trauma responses. Well, can you give us an example? Because I feel you always tell me that I'm very wordy, and this is a lot of words without describe it. Give us a situation, even if you have to you don't have to give us a real situation.
Yeah, no. So I honestly didn't understand. I had never understood a lot of movies. Movies oftentimes to me are very cringe-worthy, and I would often have a gut response that I would do the opposite of what the lead character was doing. So oftentimes in movies, somebody figures out that they need to do the right thing for themselves in life for whatever reason, and they have to go against the crowd. They have to go against even their partner or best friends, whatever. So, and it just absolutely never registered as the right thing to do to me. For me.
Well, okay. So here's the question. Let's could you give us a situation? Because I wanna see if we can play this. I want to play with this just a little bit because I think it'll help me understand a little bit. I get what you're saying because
my last relationship.
Okay.
And it was part of the relationship. The person that I was with was like, you cannot have boundaries with me. Period. End of story. And I was okay with it. That was absolutely I was like, yeah, that for me is what love is. And yeah, you're dominant and I'm not, and this is great. And it's freaking fabulous that I'm going to go through this relationship with no boundaries.
Okay.
That doesn't work, by the way.
No, it does not. Okay, I kind of see what you're saying, because the thing is that that would be when you're talking about movies, you're talking about when somebody's standing up for themselves.
Mm-hmm. I would literally hide my head and cringe from it.
Well, but that also yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with programmed, because there is
another trauma response is that we are constantly analyzing the room, and that we feel this need to psychoanalyze everybody, even if we're not saying it out loud. We are constantly hypervigilant and psychoanalyzing everybody in the room, and it sadly for my kids, this is a terrible place to be growing up, but I thought that was perfectly normal. We nitpick everything.
Yeah.
We are always looking for the imperfections to fix. Mm-hmm. We're constant fixers. And I thought that everybody felt that way. I thought everybody needed to fix everybody all the time, that everybody was always seeing what needed to be fixed. And to ourselves too. Okay,
so let's take this let's take the first one very specifically, because we're talking about and we're gonna take it to a slightly different look at it differently with using some different words, right? So when you're watching a film and the person is standing up for themselves, what response seems to be coming through to you is
don't do that.
No.
Okay.
It's that's not exactly where I'm going with this. It's you're going right into flight mode. That's exactly what. So it's not actually a gut response that's coming to you. Look at it as a trauma response. Does that make sense?
I get that.
Yeah. And the same thing with your kids. When you're talking about nitpicking, what you're doing is you're actually doing a fight response, because you're trying to get them to. That's exactly what it is. You're trying to get them to. You're trying to find a way to shake off your own energy, and the only way to do it is to put that energy somewhere, because there's lots of it's you're also seeing your own insecurities in that, and so you're basically nitpicking your own insecurities on everyone, and so that's that's kind of the thing. So what there is a certain amount of deprogramming, and that's why I say use the the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Mm-hmm. Because I feel that is going to help you break down what is what. So when you we talked.
And here's the interesting thing. So what you shared with me today, and what came up in my feed today, is somebody that we follow.
Yeah.
Was also talking about.
She's actually a friend of mine.
I talked to her. You follow.
Yeah, I've worked for her. Shannon Rose. Shannon, it's you.
Shannon Rose. There you go. And she talked about not knowing the difference between a trauma response and waiting, just waiting. And I do that too. I always wait for other people to make my choices for me. And when I first got back from, because I had so given that over to somebody else, all of that responsibility went. I couldn't make a choice to save my life.
See, and that's the freeze response. So, so when you had basically, it was your way of healing. So,
and I didn't even know what I liked or disliked. I couldn't even order food.
And that is also your freeze response, because basically this is interesting to me, because I don't think we've ever actually looked at this. Like, we've talked a lot about this part of your life, but we've never looked at it from a point of trauma. We've talked about it being traumatic and things like that, but I think, like, looking at it that way, you can actually have some sympathy for yourself. Do you know what I mean? And not like look at it as like, oh, I was a bag of shit. Be like, no, I was in freeze response because I needed to relearn how to move, is a good way to put it. Like, you need to relearn how to like things, and I feel like you're still this.
Well, in trauma responses, when you talk fight, flight, freeze, or pander, if you're talking specifically to that being triggered, that is gut.
Yeah.
That is instinctual.
But we have to.
But it is not necessarily guidance.
Yeah.
That would be different.
Well, guidance would be.
And then my gut, when I got back,
Yeah.
and everything, I could smell a narcissist a mile away. And I had zero patience. My gut response to all of that, or to really needy people, it was almost like I was allergic. All of a sudden, one of my trauma responses, which works great for two sets of twins, man, is we so love being needed. So if you're an addict, if you're a narcissist, if you're falling apart at the seams, oh my God, I'm your best friend, because the more you need me, the more I feel necessary. That was my sole role in life.
So I think what we're actually talking about here is we're actually talking about two different things. We're talking about gut responses and like
guidance. I think that.
Well, no, and responses, and just like programmed responses.
Yeah.
Because
but at the same time, I don't. If we're talking about being triggered, though, and then the program response too. I get that there's a wide variety going here, but triggered, really, I do see that as being instinctual.
Yeah, but
maybe I trigger more frequently than others.
The question, I think what you need to start asking yourself, like as you're going into this guidance, is when you're having don't ask whether or not this is guidance or whether or not this is programming. Just ask why. So almost take it like, I feel like that's the
I
message
asked,
here.
and a lot of times there's I got maybe impossibly back today.
Well, that's no. So like when you're watching,
I was like,
okay, so let's
and then that's what Julia says, is she's like, ask the question again. So I asked the question again, and I got possibly.
Well, also find out new ways to ask the question as well, because like when I do some of this stuff, like if I were talking about that movie scenario, because I think the movie scenario is the easiest one to like, you know, when people are like establishing their boundaries and like really taking
like, oh,
well,
yeah,
why?
Why?
No,
Because
that's the question. That's the question to ask. Is not, don't ask the same question. Is this guidance or is this like programming? Ask, why am I having this response?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going. I think each time you do that, like when you're responding to this thing, it's going to take you on a journey every time, because what you're doing is your body is responding to this, and what you want, like where you want the real guidance is, why am I responding to the world this way, is what it comes down to. And like, how can I respond? Like, how can I change this response, or how can I develop this response to be deeper? It's such an interesting thing for me, because I have no problem with, like, I've never had any problem with the guidance, like sitting down, because I work a lot with channels, and so when we're talking about guidance, what am I doing? Well, I have written entire channeled messages about gods and like having those kind of energies like filtered
And
through me.
I do think that Morning Pages helps a lot in that respect, because I've done, like, some of the work that I've done when I'm in a habit of writing all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the piece is just written.
Yeah.
It just comes to me. So I do believe that in some
I also-
manner of speaking, I have channeled pieces.
I also feel
before.
like if you're only getting maybe and possibly like as your answers, you need to just keep writing and stop, and don't let that be the end of it. Like, don't let like the definitive answer. Find out. Just keep asking
I
why.
actually got some really good stuff. Like, I don't know that was guidance, but it did evolve into some other, because I got I'm like, this is ridiculous. That's not an answer. Blah blah blah. But then it turned into this really lovely, and I'm like, this is maybe the first time in Morning Pages where some of this is actual writing.
Yeah.
Because
I know it's so funny when that happens, because you're like I've noticed. So I just bought a new notebook. I noticed that I've talked about this before. I write too fast in the smaller notebooks, so I need like wide
Is fast
notebook.
writing a trauma response, folks?
Well, I need the so she talks. It's interesting because she talks like, I just got an 8x11 college ruled like.
Mm-hmm. I saw that you posted that generic looking notebook. Sorry, I stood.
Oh my God! I got like.
And you got it was like the best post ever.
I know, and I thought the
How
same thing. I'm
crazy
like,
was that?
I'm
I'm like-
posting this generic looking notebook.
I looked at it and I was like, really? Go Josh!
It was a great message though, because I was talking about I talked about spiritual creating a spiritual practice. So yeah, I got this new notebook, and it's like a 5-thing notebook. I've realized that in that notebook I feel more like I'm doing Morning Pages
Yeah.
than the notebook I bought from the dollar store, which is a wide ruled notebook.
I always have done the composition notebooks for Morning Pages.
Yeah,
and
I don't think they're long enough. Like,
oh, you want to go bigger, huh?
yeah.
Oh, not long enough. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I run out of paper and I run out of ink a lot with Morning Pages.
well,
I'm always running out of freaking
agreed,
ink.
Agreed. But what I'm saying is like the college, those are actually, I think they're 8x8s or 8x9s or 6x8s. They're actually smaller notebooks. So the 8x11 like notebook I got that was college ruled, it's like when I'm writing that first page, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna take forever. And then I finish the first page and go on. And granted, it's only 15-20 minutes. And for me, that's a lot. I have done my Morning Pages in 8 minutes before. 3 pages written 8 minutes. But this longer notebook takes 15. And it's
what I'm at too.
so important to like, I think it's something to hit on the head, is like, you need the right notebook. And not to say that you do Morning Pages wrong, but the right notebook you can get the most out of it by spending the time to do it, because the smaller lines means smaller words, which means I'm not writing as big, which means I'm concentrating a little bit more on the act of even writing the words. So I think it's super important. And I think that's one of the, like you said, also don't look at guidance as in being straightforward, because just because
Okay, wait. All right. So something that you can really understand, and things that I've put in place for myself, emails, social media, making appointments. God, I cannot make an appointment for myself with a doctor to save my life. I was actually speaking to another person that had been abused, and he has all the same problems. So okay, trauma response. So, and that registers to me as gut, as like my instincts just screaming at me.
Well, it's not, because yet again, let's go back to what I said. Why? Why is that?
Why can't I answer a freaking email? Why does it stop me in my tracks and
because
give me so much panic and anxiety?
So a lot of it has to do with taking responsibility. When you're in a codependent relationship, you don't have any responsibility except to that other person. So here it comes back to the same thing, the idea of standing up for yourself. It's not even standing up for yourself, it's taking the step and like planting your feet and saying, this is this. The same thing with like appointments. Why are appointments so hard? Because when you schedule an appointment, it means that you're scheduling a time you have to be someplace and you have to be there. Like, I mean,
uber responsible though.
no, but you're not. Like, I mean, you are.
I mean,
I'm not saying you are.
don't show up to appointments.
Agreed. But think about it. Most of the appointments that you had, even for the city, for all the city you work, you didn't schedule them. They were told what time you were showing up, and you showed up. That's very different than like scheduling your own thing. Even with even with swim.
And I hate saying no to people. So that's why swim gets so incredibly overwhelming to me, is that there are a lot of people I need to say no to, or at least set boundaries with. And oh my gosh, you've seen me. I go to my room and hide for a week.
You're one of
and we're doing great. This is people that want to
well, and it's also
pay me.
But on a side note, if you want to go into the people pleasing side of it, is like you're also kind of incredibly hard to work with in some degrees when it comes to swim. Not in terms of like you going and doing the job, but in terms of being your employee. Like, it's very hard to tell you need to look at this and then actually get you to see it. Or I mean, even think when we meet for like the half-hour meetings that we've had, it's one, just because we're us, it's so hard to keep on topic, but two, it's also really hard to get you to actually focus on it, because it's almost like when you have to work in the sense of like working the business side of the business, it's like your face kind of you hit the fog.
I got Egypt or Peru or someplace else.
And this is not to say that like I don't like doing it, but I can also see where, on the same note, like you kind of get taken advantage of when it's other people because you're not keeping tabs on them. You're not doing, you are like, when you are, okay, from my experience, when you are an employee of somebody, like there is a certain responsibility of you as the employee to do your work and be honest and responsible about it. However, there's also the employer who needs to set the proper boundaries. And that's some of the places that I don't think you're strong with. And this all comes back to that same trauma and that same need to both people please, but also like kind of allow yourself to be stepped on. I mean, I
know.
And I'm not saying this negatively, because this is all a process and this is all something to work through. But I even think about when I was reading the book Anchored, and I was trying to get you to read it. It's like when it came to actually finding the answers that we've even talked about here, it's so hard for you.
I know. Well, and the amazing thing is, until everything really broke this last time, and I've had other upsets in my life. I've had 2 sets of twins. You know,
you probably don't want to say upsets and then I had 2 sets of twins, because that's not.
Oh, they're well aware. They're well aware. They're all in therapy too. So I won't. Not that I'm in therapy, but they all go to therapy. In fact, they were well aware that I was broken well before I was. I'm just a normal person.
Well, and this is something that like, this is something that goes a little bit beyond you, I think. And you need therapy. This is where this is going, but I don't want it to sound so like intervention-y. Like I planned today for the Gabby intervention. No, I mean, I'm saying that you need the weekly appointment so that, and I really do believe this, I think you need a weekly appointment so that you have someone to judge your work in a weird way, and someone to congratulate you. Because you need like, when you're doing the self-help books for the book group, for instance, like you're the one leading, and you don't like, even if you're doing it and getting something out of it, you're still focusing on it from a teacher perspective. Instead of
that's the only way that I can do any kind of self-help for myself ever.
I know, and that's
yoga, meditation, everything I've taken. For when my life was falling apart, I actually did the journaling, the gratitude, and the yoga and the meditation daily while I was in Mexico. But then I came back here, and I turned it into a job.
Well, and you also remember, you're still. The easiest way to say that is like, your entire life right now is like many people is based in the place you live, and the place you live is a dense space. And I say dense in the spiritual perspective because it is still covered in the person that brought the density to you and brought, you know, all of this to the forefront, which is great, and you can thank him for that. But at the same time, like, if you want out of it, it's like,
you gotta get out of space.
yeah. And
we're
like,
literally in front of it right now, guys.
And we really love the stoop. Thank you, stoop.
We do love stoops. Yeah, and
But-
Kelly's very happy here too.
Oh my God,
gotta
she's
say.
so cute. Like, she came up and was like licking my
she
face
just
and
licked
stuff.
the heck out of you.
Yeah, she didn't even
loves
make
you
it down
so
the stairs.
much.
She like, cause I was sitting on the stairs over here, and she comes up and she's like, ah, which is, yeah. So, but yeah, I think that part of it is, I understand why you're here. I do. I understand like how it makes sense and all of that kind of stuff. But
It's free.
yeah, but at the same time, there's my friend Christine Gabby, who's also from New Zealand, by the way. I met her in South Dakota. She was the seamstress for the plays while also being a doctor in biology, I think. It's science.
That's
it's
cool.
a sciencey thing.
That's very cool.
So she told me that you have three choices as a species when you come to any sort of conflict, right? Migrate, mutate, or die, which means you either move away from the problem, you change internally, or you die because there's no change. And that has stuck with me for the long, like I knew her in 2000, what year was that? That was when oh God, that would have been in 2006 or 2000, maybe 2008. So that is 15 years ago.
So we're in a migration period.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm in the same place though, in a very
I
different
know.
way.
You're gonna migrate to Savannah.
But in the same way, like I'm in the
Literal migration.
I am having all of the same kind of problems you are.
You've had a ton of growing pains recently.
Well, yeah, and a lot of it has to do with I feel so stuck because
Because you're not there yet.
and we're saving money, so it's like we're not doing as much. I'm at a job that like is easy, but at the same time doesn't come off as fulfilling.
I know.
And it's like,
So when you get to Savannah and you have the time to rework all of this,
it's funny. 'cause
are you going to do it?
my morning pages.
Or are you going
told
to go
me-
find another brewery or pizza
No,
place
I'm
to
not.
work
I'm
at?
not going to work. I'm not.
Because you
gonna
know
work
you can do that.
I'm not going to work in the restaurant industry anymore. I'm going to work. I might still work in retail, but when I say retail, I'm going to be like, it's very specific what kind of stores that I'm going to work at. Otherwise, honestly, I'm probably going to be doing your swim next year because that makes sense to do while I'm in.
I think we can now that I'm a lot better, because
There's
the
absolutely-
Gabby that you're dealing with now, even though I still do this, like you were saying, is not the Gabby that you dealt with in the beginning.
Oh God, no.
I'm not in complete shutdown mode, so we've gotten through the worst of it.
We need to,
folks.
you know what we need to do? This is funny that we need to bring this up, is we need to get you a business number. Like if you decide to go through Verizon or something, they can give you a second line on your phone. So when it comes up, it'll show you the phone number, so you know whether or not it's a personal or professional.
That's a great idea.
It is a great idea, because then we can put like, this is the swim phone number for thing. Oh, that was it. Thank you.
There we
Thank you,
go.
Just Us Podcast, for helping us to swim in
Just us
2025.
swimming. Just us swimming.
Just us
Just keep
swimming.
So you'll still do swim for me, and that'll be
Because
great.
because
And I actually think that we can really expand. I have one more person to bring on for next year.
Ooh, we'll talk.
Yeah. So
Spoilers.
spoiler.
So, okay, but this, like, let's actually transition a little bit into, because part of this, like, talking about, like, all this trauma and stuff, how does
the body store?
I was gonna say,
trauma?
how is your life reflecting it? And it's like right now, I have been sugar highing myself like crazy lately, and I have not been sleeping well. I know it's all like when you have a soda at 10 o'clock at night, it's not good.
That's the only
I know,
thing
I
I've
know,
been
I know,
really
Gabby.
anti with is
I
soda.
know. You
Don't drink calories.
As Gabby's shaking her coffee in front of.
It's a coffee, but it's almost calorie free.
Yeah.
I don't do any sugar in my coffee.
I don't either. But it's straight
Oh,
espresso.
I've had a sip of your coffee. I can't even swallow your coffee.
Okay, when I do a pumpkin spice latte. But like, so So we've been talking about this. Like I feel like I've put on a lot of weight, and it's funny that you mentioned Savannah and what's going to change, because actually in my morning pages I wrote out like what my daily schedule looks like, and I basically work from 1 o'clock until like 4, at which point 4 o'clock I get whatever I need for dinner, and I make it for Michael to come home. So like I literally make breakfast, or I get up, do my morning pages,
You're so good.
make breakfast, and then after breakfast I do jogging and yoga, and then I come home, walk the dog, get ready, start do something small for lunch, and then work in the afternoon, and then around 4 o'clock. Yeah, so like that's what my schedule is, and then at night I either walk with Michael, like walk around, or go do dinner somewhere, and we make dinner at home, and then do something together that night, TV sometimes, depending on what the weather's like. So I really want to focus on like the things that, a lot of the Julia Cameron stuff actually.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, and I think that.
But my big thing right now is that like.
So do you feel like because you're stagnant right now, you're
I feel like my
your body
stagnance is right here.
Me too. I get you. I got this, and I still do all. I know.
You sound like a like.
Yeah, if
Morphin
only it was a superpower. We'll call it a superpower. And it has slowed me down so much. I can still do all the stretching and yoga. I've even built back up to planking and yoga, but I can't do the sun salutations at all. Any kind of chaturanga arms, not happening. Upward dog, no bueno. I built back into down dog. I can do down dog, but the stuff that gets your pulse moving, I cannot do yet. And so I've gotten heavier.
Yeah, me too.
And I need to run. I know I need to run, but running just doesn't, it's excruciating still. I have to do it enough that it's not excruciating anymore,
Gabby,
but it's still excruciating.
There's a run group that runs every Monday at 7 p.m. at Departed Souls Brewery. See? Yay.
And I did really, he got me to come into a dance class, a bar class.
Pure bar class.
And I really loved it.
They're great.
I would love to, that was the thing about money that I really loved. That's what I did when I had money. I took a lot of classes, folks, and I was in the best shape of my life. And then when the pandemic happened, and I wasn't doing the in-person classes anymore.
Take a step back from that, though. Like, let's look at that.
I just worked out.
That is also a trauma response, though, because I don't think you were doing it all for you. You're doing some of it for me. For me. She was doing it for me.
So, are you saying I'm fat is because I don't have a significant other now?
Kind of, actually.
Oh, gosh.
Well, yeah, but think about it. Honestly, but there's also the opposite. There's also the opposite true too.
Or maybe I'm just healthy now because I don't have a significant other. Like I could tone, but I'm at an okay body weight. I'm not starving myself now.
That's also the truth. But there's also the other side of it is that we're getting older and we have to change not only like the exercise, but
now you're my mother. So
I am not your mother.
I said it to my mother, and Josh was like, "Oh, this is good. We need to talk about this, Gabby."
I did.
So yeah, I mentioned to my mother that I'm injured and I've gained some weight because of the injury, and she's like, and she calls me Lisa. She doesn't call me Gabby. She's like, Lisa.
She called you Gabby when we were.
Does she?
When we were in Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, she probably tried. She does. She'll play along. She's like, Lisa, you are of an age now. And maybe as you go into menopause, you need to accept that you're just going to be a heavier human being.
And that's when Gabby spent all of the money signing up for all of the classes she can do. I think there is a minor bit of truth to what she's saying. Not to say, like, we are getting older. Like, I'm several lot of years younger than you. Not a lot of years younger than you.
Enough. You're enough.
But I'm, and I'm
already a decade.
Almost a decade. I think
almost.
7 years? 8 years? 8 years?
I'm 48.
Oh, you're 48.
I don't mind.
8. Yeah, he's 11 years.
Yeah, I'll be 49 this year. I have no problem, and that's one of the things I'm
I
really
thought you were
great.
like 45.
Thank you.
I had you pegged at 45.
It's funny. I've been teaching at Grace for a while now, and they asked me my age recently, and I told them. And
Gabby
she's
was like 35.
No, that's what she told me. She's like, I said she's not a day over. The lady said, and I told them you're not a day over 35.
This lady is like 90 though.
No, it was the other
Oh.
one. But and she's over 90, and still running a program, and that's my life goals. I want to be just like Joyce, running stuff.
Well, and this is what we're
Making a difference for people.
and this is what we're talking about. Is like now.
Okay, and I must say, you don't consider yourself Gen X, do you?
No, I'm a millennial.
He's a millennial.
My husband's Gen X.
Okay, Gen X. There has been a shift with Gen X women. I have to say, we do not look like our mothers at this age.
Oh yeah. Well,
There's-
we were just talking about that. We were talking about that. And just like that, the cast, the former Sex and the City cast, who have the new TV.
No.
Hey, what are you
Why
doing?
did you do that?
What is wrong with you?
Wow. Okay, that was Kelly getting really animated there. Really animated there.
And a fly.
And a fly.
Bee. Yeah, but and just like that. So and just like that was the women of that TV show are the same age that the Golden Girls were when they started the Golden Girls. And think about that. Think about how.
I think the Golden Girls were actually their actual ages. I don't know that they.
Well,
they
I know
were
that
portraying
the
that
person who
age.
plays Sophia was actually the youngest of the group.
She was the youngest, which is crazy. And I think that they were like in their 50s.
Yeah.
And just like that, they're 65, aren't they? Or in their 60s?
No, they're in their late 50s. Yeah.
Late 50s? Okay.
Yeah. So there is like Michael and I always joke because we talk about like aging like homosexuals versus straight guys, because the same thing. It's like gay people take better care of themselves, and I'm not sure. And it's not true 100% of the time. It's probably true about 75% of the time. But there is a certain amount of like the way we look, because we like thinking about it like the Hollywood look. Like there are only 3 ages. There are teenage, adult, and elderly. And now
Maiden, mother, crone.
I didn't say that because also men aren't crones.
And you're not maidens either.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden, maybe.
Ooh, nice. So yeah, I mean, like I think what we can look at and what we can talk about like as we move forward, and like I was going to talk to you about this, is we have to talk about our like a November challenge if we want to do something like, but at the same time, like we have to think of sustainability. So if we're doing like
I've done 2 isogenics cleanses, and I was like, I'm not doing another one in November. But then I'm not fitting my clothes the way I want to fit my clothes. And someone like the dress that I wore yesterday, I just want to feel comfortable in it and confident. It looked fine. It was okay. It zipped, but it wasn't comfy. It didn't feel good to be in it. So I just want to get back to that place where everything feels good. But then I also thought about what you said about doing it. And I do believe in cleansing, because I think it offsets a lot of things. There's a lot of good science and research out there that makes a case that it helps offset Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia and cleaning out the cells and all of that. So
does yoga, Gabby.
Oh, yogurt's bad for you.
Yoga?
Oh, yoga. Yoga's great for you.
Yeah, yoga.
I thought you said yogurt. I'm like, yogurt's so bad for you.
Yogurt's great for the enzymes in your belly, the bacterial.
But most yogurts are.
Oh yeah, most yogurts are shit.
Not, and they don't have the stuff that we're talking about. And on top of it, they have so much sugar.
Yeah, but I get that. But I feel like you right now, it's
wait, that what I was getting to is what you had said. He did it with me. He did the cleanse with me.
kind of. I got hungry.
That's what, yeah. And I admit, and you were talking to my good friend when she called you and said, well, how'd you like it? What? He's like, I was hungry all the time. I was literally hungry.
All the time.
All the time. And he's like, Gabby, I don't want to be hungry all the time. That's a choice. And I thought about it. I'm like, yeah. I think I've been starving my entire life. And I think women do that.
And I think gay men do that too. But here's the thing that I'm talking about is like, I don't think cleansing is bad. I think there are like, I feel like in retrospect, I've thought about this. Like we did it back in September, so I've thought about it quite a bit. I still have some of the stuff in my
if you want to give this to, I still do my 2 shakes a day. So if you want to give the shakes back to me and I'll still cleanse. But I don't know that I'm going to be rigid about it. It's not like I'm doing the 11-day and I'm not having any of the other stuff because then I'm hungry all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's healthy either.
It's not healthy. That's what
you know, trauma response, that always registered as healthy for me.
Yeah.
If I'm starving, then I'm obviously doing it right.
Well, that's because of how you grew up. And like, it's funny that like, yeah, I'm not gonna go into that.
I'm not even going there.
I'm not going there. But I think that's what we need to talk about is like, we need to talk about, we've had like over the last few weeks, like we've had problems with the sustainability aspect. So it's like, what are our goals? Like my goal is this whole living the superhero life idea and working with that, which we've talked about before. Like,
I want to be the sexy yoga grandma. You know, have you seen her on Instagram? Like,
no.
She's got this. I will never have the silver hair. I still have no grace, so I'll never have the grandma hair. But I can wear a wig, and she's.
Gabby, you'd wear the wrong wig because it would be so humorous. You'd wear like the Sophia wig.
What's wrong with that?
You'd wear the Sophia wig.
What's wrong with that? You gotta see this mink hat I bought today. I am so looking forward to being the hip grandma. I cannot wait. I'm like.
Yes, you can. You want your kids to have a little bit better careers than they currently do.
Yeah.
In marriage, maybe.
Yeah.
If they're into marriage.
Nah. Just let go of the fucking marriage. They definitely are not.
Says somebody who has been happily divorced.
Very happily divorced, folks. Let's celebrate the divorce date, not the wedding date.
So yeah, but I think that's what we need. Like, we need to be focused on that. Like, I remember this episode of How I Met Your Mother, which I bring up anytime I'm talking about like living the superhero life, because it's about living the nerd life, and like living the heroic nerd life is a good way to do it, because there's no way to be a superhero without being a nerd. I always think about this episode of How I Met Your Mother, which is from the season 9, called How Your Mother Met Me. And it was the 150th episode, so it had like callbacks to all the seasons and stuff, but it was told from the mother's point of view. So it's, so I don't think Ted ever made an appearance, or if he did, it was like sideways. Oh, he like walked in the room a couple times, like after she left, or she had like been showering or something. So, in one of the early seasons, there's this thing called the naked man, which is when you go out on a date with somebody. This is so like, it's so rapey and so like of its era, where you go home with somebody, and if you didn't think it was gonna end, like if you didn't think it was gonna end well and you weren't gonna do another date, you strip down naked, because at least you'll probably have sex. And like the thing is that it worked 2 out of 3 times. And in the episode, this guy goes home with the mother, and he takes off all his clothes, and she's like, "Oh my God, she's the one. She's the one that."
Okay.
So it's really funny in some respects, but they end up having a conversation because he's known her for like, he knew her from band camp as kids, and he's a music instructor now, and he mentions that like, well, what do you want to do? And she's like, end world hunger, and he's like, every choice that you make from here on out should be with that goal in mind, and.
Find a bigger problem.
And yeah, and I think that's what like, I kind of think we're both missing a little bit. Like,
oh, it's totally missing. That's another trauma response though, is I've always latched on to other people's problems.
and ignored my own.
And yeah, well, I did this self-expression and leadership program, and the whole idea, and that was the only reason I signed up for Landmark, and that you have to go through 4 programs before you even get to that program. But I was there, I was in it, and self-expression and leadership was supposed to deliver me my bigger problem. And I remember thinking on it and waiting even after the fucking program was over. And you know what my bigger problem was for my self-expression and leadership?
What?
My daughter coming out. Not my problem. Not my problem. We had a LGBTQ festival.
Yeah.
And she went to Pride, and she came home in tears because she said, I'm sorry, Josh, but she said the only people there were old fat guys. But yeah, I said it. I'm sorry. This is my old fat gay men drinking beer.
Yeah.
That was her review of Pride that year. And this was my middle school age daughter, so don't take it with a grain of salt. She is 21 now, so do the math.
I don't know what is.
Middle school, she would have been 11-ish.
11, so 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, see? So we created a festival for her, and it was great. And kids came in from out of state, and we got all kinds of press. She got this huge, she calls it her big gay tier. They honored her. They had her up on stage. They
honestly,
gave her,
it's so funny. It's so funny. You know, those are like the same everywhere. Like Michael has
the big gay tier,
a human rights campaign thing, and it's literally the same thing. And like he ended up giving them, it's like you can like we could make our own. Like that could be what we do next year.
Josh is like, I can cry you a gay tier. That's even better.
I can cry you a gay tier. Yeah. No, it's funny. It's one of those funny things. It's like you feel as a kid you're so excited to get them, but at the same time it's like.
So yeah, that's
they're mass produced from the Gap.
Total trauma response for me. I still have yet to find my bigger problem. I'm waiting for God, guidance, creator, source to go, ah, this is it. This is what you truly value and care about, Gabby. Go and do your shit.
Well, Gabby, you have to start doing things to make that choice to some degree.
I do things. I really love teaching the seniors. I value that. Meditation, yoga, technology.
But there's something missing with that, and the reason why I say that is because you are not willing to step outside of your comfort zone to move it forward. Oh yeah, I'm calling you out, bitch.
no, okay. So it's interesting. I just
not to say that she doesn't. She's fantastic at it. She's fantastic at her job.
I just messaged my peeps. I have a mastermind group, Landmark actually, and I messaged them. I am so incredibly overwhelmed by Instagram right now. I am trying. I really am trying, but and I know that there's a lot more that I need to be doing that I'm not doing properly, and I get the things that I'm not doing properly. But number one is that I'm really not niche. I have so many things that I'm into, and I feel that each one of them needs their own Instagram account, but I cannot do 5. I can't manage one Instagram, much less 5 Instagram accounts. So what do I choose, and how do I go about this?
That's what you asked them? What'd they say?
Did they get back to me? I have 2 messages, so maybe. I think you can niche in your own Gabby way. I get that being good at many things can be a bit confusing for a potential client customer. Personally, I separate my drumming from my Mr. Simon stuff, but it's really all about selling me. And under my business name, Sci-Fi Music Productions. So maybe that's where you can look, Gabby.
Well, and I think, like, we've talked about this before, is that, like, it's not necessarily about being niche, because what you're asking these people is, like, remember that no matter what, if it's swimming or yoga, they're trying to buy you. I mean, I know I make you sound like
it's Gabby.
Yeah,
okay.
They're trying to buy Gabby.
I get that.
Because you're not doing anything that's not you.
A lot of Instagram, actually, even though you are presenting you are the one on camera, you are the But so much of what all social media is about is they don't give a fuck what I'm doing. How can I help them? In fact, even starting off with, hi, I'm Gabby Creary, and this is Gabby Creary Wellness, is wasting, and they're already tuning me out.
Do you want to
It's
take
about
any for
them.
free? Oh, sorry.
Sure. We're getting offered free stuff now, guys.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I think. Okay, so going back to Shannon Rose. So Shannon is spiritual business. So like that's what she's great at. She has the Bow Academy, which is all about building your body of work. So what you're talking about is you are talking about this. You're talking about what is my body of work? What am I putting out into the world? So what you're putting out Gabby as a teacher and as a leader. So when you're looking at how are you going to describe yourself? Well, you can say that, oh, I'm all these things, but if you go with the broad teacher and leader, like, what are you doing? You're leading people. You might even want to say instructor, like instructor and instructor teacher, or instructor and something, like finding the kind of broad words, because all of the other things, yoga, technology, swimming, like that would be under that. So it's like Gabby Creary is what people are going to see under that. They're going to see
big broad.
Yeah, Gabby Creary, and then it's going to be the little like teacher, instructor, la da da, like,
Okay.
and then underneath that you can say yoga, hooping, la da da. You can like list it all. So,
But
yeah.
but don't you think like yoga and meditation can stay together? But I feel like if you're even if you go into hooping or technology, those need to be like separate Instagrams. Like
No.
you don't think so?
No, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it as a way to stop yourself from doing anything at all.
Really?
Yep. Constantly. Yet again, I'm calling. Why do we do this, Gabby? I literally spend the entire time just calling you out on your bullshit, with love and laughter. Okay, but it's true.
Okay.
It's true. Like,
Well, yeah. I
So-
called you out on your bullshit too.
she does call me out on my bullshit, but I think that's what, like, yeah. I think what you just need to make it a habit of posting something.
All right.
Like,
I
and
just
it's-
feel like technology needs its own thing. And I think that's going to be the main seller. People are so hungry for that.
Well, I think what you need to do is stop thinking of it that way.
Okay.
Because the thing is that you start thinking about teaching as what you're doing versus what you're teaching.
Okay.
Because as you've said, you can teach soccer too. If somebody would come up and be like, yo, I
I've
need a
done soccer, fencing, baseball.
Yeah.
I've done acting for the camera. I've done it all.
Yeah, it's where do you want to put your energy at any given time is what you're going to end up teaching. Like right now, and I think that when we're talking about the big why, that
What's your bigger problem, Josh?
my bigger
Talk
problem.
about calling you out. What is your bigger problem? What do
Oh,
you
I want
want
to be
to
a
take
dad.
on?
I want to be a dad. That's it.
You want to be oh,
Right now, that's kind of all.
all right.
Being a dad, or I also want to write, which I do constantly. I also really want to get our business going and eventually have a
Right.
storefront. Like Michael is so funny because Michael.
Sit ass in chair.
Yeah, I mean that's
the hardest part of writing. Mm.
yeah, but it's also like the hardest part of doing an Instagram post too is sitting your ass down and doing it.
I
Like,
actually really enjoy the videos that I've been doing. It's creative and fun for me, and I feel like inspired by them. They're not doing any good for me. At
Hey,
first,
hey,
they got
hey.
me like 100 followers at first. It's time for me to move on. I have to evolve past my comfort zone. I've gotten comfortable with those, and it literally got me 100 right off the bat.
100 more followers?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it's not doing it anymore.
Well, then what I recommend doing is, okay, this is actually what you should do is you teach technology. So why don't you give yourself a 21-day challenge? Well, every day you're going to post something on Instagram that's relating to technology. Even if you're talking, or just posting something and starting a series about that. Like, okay, talking about the problems, talking about your anxiety, like, because even though that's not necessarily about technology, like, if people have
It's relatable.
Yeah, it's relatable.
And
Stuff that people
what
are
I
gonna
need to do, I'm gonna go. So I've set that goal, but I wasn't sure which way to go with it. I'm like, do I do technology? Do I do yoga? Do I do hooping? Do I do which one do I really want to? And so I'm buying the new iPhone this weekend so I can have a better camera to do it all. And yeah, and I
Then
also
we're gonna be recording on Gabby's camera.
He's anti this, but I'm also investigating the AI technology around it so that I can do a really good post. I want all the.
My husband wanted me to start using AI, so I use AI for things. It's weird for me. Like,
there's a lot of negatives. I get that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positives.
It was
too.
really funny.
I teach a class in that, guys.
So,
if you want to learn about AI, I can show you.
Michael was so funny
it.
because I was like, Michael, what if somebody like wants to steal our stuff? He's like, Josh, like these descriptions are anybody could steal them anyway. It's like,
yeah, and honestly, if you get AI to write it for you, as opposed to taking 2 hours to write it for yourself, if it's done in 2 minutes, do you really care that anybody steals it? Because
it's true. It was done in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep up the conversation at like next week. Let's talk about what to do, like some little steps we can do to keep progressing throughout November. Like that's
how are we going to get God to talk to Gabby? That's where our progress.
No, it's how are we going to get Gabby to listen to God? Because he's already talking to you, baby. And by God, I mean Creator Source, all those other things.
Yeah.
Because
it's just G and G, you know.
Yeah, GG.
GG.
How is Julia, the instinctive Julia? Okay, so with that, I think we're gonna say goodbye. Bye, everybody. This is Gabby and Josh from Just Us Living, and we'll see you again next week.
We love you.
Bye.